School murders, gun rights, gun restrictions. Is there a slippery slope? Hey everybody, it's Dr. David with another Burger Bite. Again in front of us, we are presented with another heinous, terrible act of murder. 19 children died. 2 adults died. We keep on seeing this over and over again. Sandy Hook, Parkland, Buffalo, and San Antonio from a few years back. When is this going to stop? Now, other countries have gone through these terrible, terrible experiences and have taken actions that seem to have significantly stopped it. Why are we not able to do that here in America? Now, of course, I don't have all the answers here. I don't know if I have even many answers here, but I know that many of us are having more and more concern and frustration over seeing this over and over again. Being scared of sending our kids off to school because it could happen everywhere. We've heard that the Texas school had plenty of safety measures in hand, had met all the requirements, yet this still happened. So something isn't right. Are we going to do something about it? Now, I fully understand the Second Amendment as a transparency. I don't own a gun. I've never shot or even held a real gun before. That's my own personal choice, but I also totally respect the Second Amendment and that it is at the very foundation of this country about the rights of citizens to bear arms. And that's what the Second Amendment says. But it also, in the same very short amendment, talks about a well regulated militia. And of course, that is something that is open to interpretation, and it certainly has been so over the years. So the question then becomes, can we find a happy medium? Maybe happy is not the right word here, but some place where we can have some common sense laws put into place that could potentially make a difference. And no matter what law we put together, it's not going to stop 100% of this. We know that. But I do also know that I believe it's like almost 80% of 90% of gun owners in our country do believe in having some further restrictions like enhanced background checks, including like 80% of the NRA members. So there is a strong desire to do something, but yet every single time we have thoughts and prayers. We say this is terrible. Nothing happens, and it happens again. Will this be the time that does it? Well, with our experience so far, you thought what would happen after Sandy Hook. You thought it would have happened after Parkland, but it didn't. Now, there were some very interesting things particular to Texas. And some of this has to do with the history of the gun laws there. So I'm gonna also be referring to some notes that I have here to make sure that I got this right. Um, in May 2018, there was a mass shooting in Santa Fe, Texas. The Governor Abbott, had actually convened a roundtable discussions with school leaders, parents, teachers, students, advocacies to try to improve school safety, which was great. Of course, we always to have those types of conditions. And a month later, he unveiled a 40-point plan about increased security, but also had asked lawmakers to consider a red flag law. If there is a situation where a person feels at jeopardy or that a person is not stable to own a gun, can something be done about that? And I know that that's a very, very slippery slope kind of question, but yet this is something that the governor of Texas, of all people, did propose. That's something that we should explore. Now, the shootings themselves that had happened earlier. In fact, during that, there was a Sutherland shooting where there was a failure for the military to even report some of the troubling things that one of the shooters had, and the person was unable to go out and buy a gun. So part of it is that we're not even in following the laws that we have already. But there was a failure, and it got through. However, for all of those things that Governor Abbott had talked about, then the government abandoned a year later, and in fact, by 2021, they passed laws loosening restrictions. Now in Texas, people can carry a gun without having a permit from the government. Now the government relative in Texas, the governor specifically said regarding this Texas shooting that the shooter had a mental health challenge and that the state needed to do a better job with mental health, which of course I agree with. But you know what? Actions speak louder than words. And just this past April, he cut $211 million out of the budget of the department that is supposed to take care of mental health issues for their state. So those two things just don't jive for me. Okay. Now, if there are so many people who agree with background checks that are enhanced, that's closing up some of the loopholes, why aren't we doing this? We all seem to, the overwhelming majority of us seem to agree with this. But yet the leadership, who are the ones who actually can, always say, oh, this isn't the time for that. We shouldn't politicize it, whatever. Now, coming back to that original question, is there a slippery slope? Well, damn it, there's one thing that's not a slippery slope. 19 children are dead. Nothing is slippery about that. People are being shot and killed in these mass shootings with assault weapons, with high capacity military grade capacity for their guns. Now, yeah, we're not allowed to have rocket launchers and tanks, so there obviously is some regulation that happens here. Can we find some medium among all of us that we can come along that maybe even if it would have presented one mass shooting, maybe there wouldn't be 18 children dead today, 19 children dead today from this. Maybe the violence wouldn't be there. So I don't know. But I do know one thing. Unless we do something, this is going to continue. Have a nice day.